Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 194. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got my co-host, Steve, with me this morning. Happy Halloween. Happy Sunday, Steve. Welcome to Week 8. How are we doing?
Yes, sir. Happy Halloween. Hopefully we can get this Sunday started with a bang, hit some bets early, and then build off that for the night game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's not the most interesting night game. We're going to have to wait to see if Dak Prescott is going to be in or not. We'll get to our, guys are ruled out, expected to start, all that good stuff here shortly. How was your Halloween? Have some celebration last night?
Yeah. Solid last night. Paying for it a little bit this morning, a little hungover, but hey, that won't slow us down.
Yep. Cheers to that. On 4 or 5 hours of sleep. We're doing the show about an hour later, this Sunday, not the usual 9 a.m. Eastern start time. So we're feeling a little bit, but we're ready to get rolling, ready to jump into some picks. Before we get into the game time decisions, what are you looking at for your best prop for the day?
Yeah, so I got Scary Terry anytime touchdown sitting at plus 170. I really like that for this team. Obviously, Antonio Gibson's been a bit shaky throughout this year, especially as of late. So I like McLaurin at a great value. How about you?
Yep, I like that as well. I think that'll be a good matchup for him. I have Dame Harris and James Robinson anytime touchdowns. That combo pays plus 320. Dame Harris going up against the Chargers, 32nd up against the run. James Robinson and the Jaguars going up against the Seahawks, 30th up against the run. So plenty of upside there. I like them, both of those guys, to finish in the red zone this Sunday. Let's jump into the game time decision, Steve. What are we looking at for guys who are ruled out?
All right, so we got Zach Wilson. Obviously, he suffered that injury last week. Kind of knew all week he wouldn't be in. Dawson Knox for Buffalo. We got Eric Ebron out for the Steelers. Donovan Peoples-Jones for a shorthanded Cleveland team who, need everyone they can have right now. Terrace Marshall Jr. for the Panthers. Julio Jones is out for the Titans. Miles Sanders is going to miss some time. I think they put him on IR. Antonio Brown with a heel injury. Diami Brown for the football team, and also Curtis Samuel for the football team.
All right, right on. Guys that are expected to play today, we're looking at Austin Eckler, Devontae Parker, Odell Beckham Jr., T.Y. Hilton getting back in the lineup for the Colts, DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. I feel like these guys are always game time decisions for some reason. Alex Collins, Kendrick Bourne for the Patriots, and Jonnu Smith for the Patriots as well. And then game time decisions still down to the wire. Rob Gronkowski and Dak Prescott. Also not expected to play today is Corey Davis for the Jets. That's not going to help them out any. All right, let's jump into the morning flex. Let's get talking about some starter sits here. First up, we've got Teddy Bridgewater versus Matt Ryan. Which direction are you going here, Steve? You got Bridgewater versus Washington at home, Matt Ryan versus Carolina at home.
I'm all out on Teddy after watching that Thursday night game recently. That was tough. Just not really sold on that team. As the season progresses, it kind of seems like their offense is getting more and more stale. Judy, I believe, is returning this game, so that's a little bit of a bright spot for the Broncos. But I like what Matt Ryan can do. He's strung together a couple nice games recently. He is going up against the Panthers defense, who I think they activated Stephon Gilmore, so you'll see him suit up for this game. But that doesn't stop it. I like Ryan. Division game, it's going to be tough.
It's a tough spot for Matt Ryan going up against Carolina Panthers, who are second up against the pass right now. And on top of that, like you mentioned, they're already getting Stephon Gilmore back. So tough for me. I'll just play devil's advocate and go Teddy Bridgewater here for the point that you brought up. Jerry Jeudy is coming back. Jerry Jeudy looked great in the only half of football that he played so far this season. was cleaning up targets very early and often for Teddy Bridgewater. I think that they're really going to utilize him quite a bit underneath the line of scrimmage, trying to get Sutton to open up the field and create some space for Jerry Jeudy across the middle. So it's just a great plus matchup. Washington, second best matchup for the quarterback position in fantasy right now. So a lot to like for Bridgewater today. But I hear you, sour taste in your mouth from the last performance on Thursday Night Football. Next up, we have Dan Jones in prime time, Danny Dimes on Monday Night Football at Kansas City, or Trevor Lawrence today playing on the road as well in Seattle. Which direction are you going here, Steve?
I'm going to roll the dice, and I think I'm going to go with Daniel Jones here. Okay. I like the upside that he can bring with his legs. This is going to be an all-out game for him here. He's not he doesn't have Kenny Golladay. He doesn't have Saquon. So he's going to have to give every ounce of effort he has. Trevor Lawrence, it's just tough. That Jaguars offense has not really been able to click, and now they're without some wide receivers. Seahawks defense is fine. It's more of the Seahawks offense that I have, questions about. So I'm going to go Daniel Jones here. I like the upside against a soft Kansas City defense.
I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence. Again, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Seattle, their rushing defense and passing defense is in the bottom 5 of the NFL right now. So going on the road, I think that they're going to be really hungry for another win. Dan Jones at Kansas City, it seems like there's a lot of opportunity there because Kansas City is also top 5 or in the bottom 5, against the pass and against the run here. So I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll get a little bit more passing volume there. Dan Jones, just tough for me to trust him consistently. They're both playing on the road, so there's definitely something holding back a little bit from both of them.
Definitely.
All right, this next one up here, we've got same matchup, actually. Elijah Mitchell at Chicago, Khalil Herbert with San Francisco, same game, or Tyler Lockett versus Jacksonville, kind of circling back to that Seahawks and Jags game. What do you think here?
It's tough for me. I'm going to pass on Lockett this week. I do think he gets, he'll see some targets. But with Geno Smith, I think Geno didn't even break the 200 yards last week, or if he did, he just hit that threshold.
His prop was like 209, so it wasn't really expected.
Yeah. But it's not something that's going to bode well for Tyler Lockett, so he's on my fade list this week. Really, I feel like you could roll the dice here between Elijah Mitchell and Khalil Herbert, two offenses that really don't have much going for them except for this running game that they got. I'm going to go Khalil Herbert here just because I think that's tough. Maybe I think I'll just go Khalil Herbert.
All right. The tandems there for Chicago and for San Francisco, they're not really feeding Trey Sermon. Like it's the Elijah Mitchell show. And since Dame Williams went down with COVID, it's pretty much been the Khalil Herbert show for Chicago. So the Bears 23rd up against the run, the Niners the 20th up against the run. They're both going to have a fair amount of touches today, probably both somewhere like 14 to 16 touches, maybe even more. And they're both going to have plenty of upside, if not nearly the same amount of upside. So I'll agree with you. I'll go Khalil Herbert just because I really feel like the Bears will try to take away the run and push Garoppolo to make some bad passes. Really try to get him to push the ball downfield and get the ball out of his hands to create some turnovers. So that's really digging deep into the narratives there. But that's where I'm going to go. I think Elijah Mitchell is still a very good start this week. I am starting him still this week, just not in a situation like this. All right, next up, we've got Kenny Gainwell taking over from Miles Sanders. They're going on the road. They're playing in Detroit versus Devontae Booker at Kansas City or Jacoby Myers at the Chargers. Who do you like here? I love Gainwell right here. This to me, this looks like a home run for him.
So I'm between Gainwell and Booker. Gainwell is a home run, especially against his matchup against Detroit. I also like Booker, though. Kansas City's defense, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, of how weak that Chiefs defense has been. I'm actually going to go Devontae Booker. He had a solid week last week, and I think he could build off that. I want to wait maybe a week on Kenneth Gainwell just to make sure that what type of workload he's going to get. Just because it's been a roller coaster ride with him so far this year. Granted, that's been with Miles Sanders in the lineup, so maybe this is where he gets to prove it.
Well, like I said, guys, I love Kenny Gainwell. I've been banging that drum all offseason. With Miles Sanders out, Nick Sirianni will have the opportunity to really over feature him. I don't know if that necessarily will be the case because I still think that Boston Scott kind of works into that Miles Sanders role. But I do like Gainwell to be used in the red zone. I do like him to catch passes, and his usage is just going to go up, than previous weeks. And we've already seen him as a fantasy relevant player. So I love him this week. Fire him up absolutely. I like Jacoby Myers as well, but he's definitely third on this list. I would definitely put Devontae Booker at 2 for the reasons that you highlighted about the holes in the KC defense. All right, moving on to some wide receiver heavy options here. First up, we're looking at T. Higgins at the Jets, Emmanuel Sanders versus Miami, or Zach Moss versus Miami. Who do you like here? I think I still go Sanders. Him and Allen seem to really be clicking.
I'm actually going to go T. Higgins. Last week, we saw him get 15 targets. Obviously, Jamar Chase stole the show there, but if he just, converts some of those 15 catches, I feel like we're talking about T. Higgins, instead of Jamar Chase. Sure. But yeah, if you're hurting for running back, I can totally see a Zach Moss versus Miami. Zach Moss has actually been a nice for people who either went, 0 RB or just had injuries. Christian McCaffrey been out. You've been able to pick him up, and he's been getting double-digit outings for you. So I like him against a soft Miami defense. But if I had to pick my favorite, T. Higgins is the guy.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to go Sanders, T. Higgins, and then Zach Moss. I just still feel that Miami matchup, they're going to get into a situation where they're just going back and forth with touches between him and Singletary. They could get in park the bus mode, be up by 21, 24 at any given point in this game. So, yeah, I'm going to go Sanders, Higgins, and then Moss. All right, next up, we got Brandon Cooks hosting the Rams, Marvin Jones at Seattle, or Javonte Williams versus Washington. I think I like Javonte Williams here. Just a really juicy matchup. They don't have to overuse Melvin Gordon. He's been very productive, very consistent. What do you think?
Yeah, I got to agree. Brandon Cooks, no. What a week it's been for him. He saw Mark Ingram get traded, and he obviously tweeted his frustrations there. So I'm going to pass on him. Marvin Jones, good player, flex option at best, but I like Javonte Williams up against the football team.
Yeah, same here. All right. Getting into the tight ends, we got Tyler Higbee, Mr. Higbee, at Houston, or Ricky Seals-Jones at Denver. Ricky Seals probably has a little bit more opportunity than Higbee. Higbee's, playing behind those big targets in Kupp and Woods and even Darrell Henderson. But Ricky Seals-Jones, he's pretty much like the next guy. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Obviously, Higbee's got the matchup against Houston. Just Houston, depleted team, so you'd like to see him have a good week. But I think that Ricky Seals-Jones, his numbers being called more in his offense. So I got to take that. I got to take opportunity over up against a matchup. So I'm going to go Ricky Seals-Jones as well.
Yeah, Heineke really seems to like him, so I'm going to go Ricky Seals as well. I thought he was like really hurt or beat up, but apparently that's not the case. He was fine. It was like I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I thought he was going to be out of the lineup, and he wound up not being out. All right, next up, Hunter Henry versus CJ Uzomah. Hunter Henry gets the Chargers on the road. Uzomah gets the Jets on the road. So anyone also in the chat that wants to participate on this one, by all means, go ahead, because this is one of my starter sits on one of my teams, and I have no fucking clue what I want to do. So by all means, I'm open to feedback because Hunter Henry, like I've been starting him, but I need his touchdown every single week, and I don't know if he's going to continue this touchdown stretch. So CJ Uzomah seems like a more or a higher ceiling play to me. Right now, I got Uzomah on my bench and Henry in my lineup. Steve, chat, let me know what I should do, guys. I'm at your mercy.
I've been rolling with Hunter Henry for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks now in a couple different leagues. And I like it. Like you said, though, it's a little bit of touchdown dependent, but so is CJ Uzomah. And I think with Hunter Henry, like it takes Uzomah to have like a big play. We saw last week, I think he had like a 45 or 55 yard touchdown on that one. I like Henry just because there's not too many other pass catchers that are having success in the Patriots offense. Henry is trumped Jonnu Smith. So I like Henry here. I've always been a fan of Hunter Henry.
So that's the thing last week, Jonnu Smith was cleaning up targets. He was out targeting Henry. He was getting all of the routes, and then he got hurt. And that's when Henry got his touchdown. So I'm really scared. I'm going to go with Henry just because I feel like the Bengals could get into a situation where they don't need to continue scoring points.
Mhm.
And I feel like the Patriots and the Chargers game will be a closer game. And I spent a good amount on CJ Uzama. Like I in a 100 fob league, I spent my last $15 on him. So I went out there and I put a pretty penny on him just because Hunter Henry is the only tight end that I had. So I want some upside going forward. Also have CJ Uzama in my Scott Fishbowl league. This week I'm starting Uzama. I already started Zach Ertz. And I'm also starting Dalton Schultz. So in Scott Fishbowl, I'm starting 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends, and 2 quarterbacks, of course. I almost did that with this other team, too. I was just like, screw it. I'll start Henry and Uzama, but I'm not going to do that. All right, we had, let's see, Mike Davis in the chat asking, full PPR flex, Gainwell, Michael Carter, or Landry. I am going Gainwell. Great matchup against Detroit. Landry, still his second game back after injury. He didn't look too bad in his first, but they're going up against Pittsburgh. I expect that to be a closer type of game, and I do not trust Michael Carter. Not against the Bengals. That's a very sneaky defense at Cincinnati Bengals D. What do you think about that one, Steve? So Gainwell, Michael Carter, or Jarvis Landry? Full point PPR.
Yeah, so I pretty much got shares of all those guys, and I like Gainwell the most this week. He's going to get the keys to that offense. And I think that's it. The matchup against the Bengals defense, you said it. It's just they're sneaky good. I think they'll give a tough game to them, and they're coming off a big win. I think they want to build off this and kind of prove to people that we're for real. None of this is a fluke.
No, absolutely, they're looking good. I'm rooting for them to win that division. I know Bengals fans, they said the applications are closed. Like we're not taking any more fans in, and I can appreciate that. I was on that bus. I was driving that bus when the Blackhawks were taking off. I mean, and Bengals just know that, what goes up must come down. Okay. That's all I got to say about that situation. What goes up must come down. We got a couple more questions here. Let's get to Nick first. He's got Gesicki or Fant this week, full point PPR. I am going Mike Gesicki. He's being used as a receiver. He's one of two his favorite targets. Loves to get found in the red zone. I think that's a home run for me. What do you think? I mean, Fant's got a really good matchup too, but I just feel like there's more targets. You got Jerry Jeudy coming back. What do you think, Steve?
You hit it right on the head with Gesicki lining up at wide receiver. Even when they bring in their other tight ends, he just bumps out and he plays receiver. Yep. So you like it there. They're obviously their receiving core is banged up. They're missing, people. They'd love to get Will Fuller back, but until then, Gesicki's our guy. It is a struggling offense with a young quarterback who just seems to be making terrible throw after terrible throw. But I think Gesicki's the one bright spot.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one. Definitely going with Gesicki. I mean, like I said, the matchup's really good for Fant and the Broncos playing the football team, but I still think that Gesicki is just really relied on in that lineup. They really need him to help move the chains. All right, we got another one here. Josh Hanser in the chat. Half point PPR, pick 2. Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, Gainwell, or Khalil Herbert. Good problems to have, Josh. Picking 2, half point PPR. Let's see. Pittman has Tennessee. I'm sorry. He has Tennessee. He has Tennessee. Sutton has the football team. Those are really good matchups. Gainwell has a really good matchup. Khalil Herbert has a good matchup. These are good problems to have. I think I go Michael Pittman. He's definitely going to be overly featured. Sutton has a little bit less upside, kind of like we just talked about with Fant coming back. Might be crazy, but I'm
returning also.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, with Jerry Jeudy returning. My bad. So I'm gonna go Pittman and Gainwell here. It's not an easy selection because those are all 4 great options here. But I'm gonna go Gainwell. I've been banging his drum all episode. I talk about him a lot, say a lot of positive things about him. Nick Sirianni loves him just as much as I do, so that's a great sign. And Pittman, he's just on fire right now. He's Wentz's guy. They've been talking about their trust and their chemistry growing and building and all that, etc. So yeah, I'm gonna go with those 2. What do you think, Steve?
I agree with the Gainwell. I am going to choose Gainwell, but I'm actually going to go Khalil Herbert. Wasn't that the 4th one? Yeah. I like Khalil Herbert. It's really the only producing piece of the Bears offense. I think you can almost pencil him in for 100 yards a week. Half point PPR, I think it's just you get your guaranteed points on the ground. So I'm going to go those 2 running backs.
All right.
Good problems to have. Very good problems to have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we are going to jump into our Week 8 previews, but everybody watching and in the chat, feel free to continue to fire away the starter sit questions, trade questions, whatever you got. Josh in the chat says, thanks. I hope. I mean, if we helped you, Annie. I mean, Steve's got the running backs. I've got, kind of a receiver mix there. So hopefully we gave you some good info, something to help out your decision making. But let's jump into this first game here. Lopsided one. We got Miami traveling to Buffalo. Road Dogs plus 14 on the spread, plus 660 on the money line. Over under in this game is at 48.5. I think Steve and I will both agree that we are obviously in love with the Bills to win this one money line. But what else are you willing to throw some shekels on here, Steve? Spread, total. What do you like?
I'm not gonna lie, I love the Bills. I love them so much. I think they opened at 13.5 early this week. I immediately ran right away because I thought this number was going to balloon up. Bills just really, really good coming off a bye week at home. There's not much going for Miami. I don't see a spot where they are too successful here. So I'm laying the 14 points. I don't like double digit spreads, but I'll do it for this Bills team. Arguably a front runner for the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Bills have been amazing. They have the best passing defense. They're 6th up against the rush. So, looking at the Miami Dolphins on paper, it's tough to estimate, where the production is going to come from, where the potential touchdowns and scoring could come from. The Bills, they just kill drives. They stomp all over you. They've got a great pass rush. They're going to cause turnovers. I'll take the Bills to cover as well. The 14 seems like a tall ask, but like I said earlier, I expect them at certain points in this game to be up the 21 and the 24, and I just feel like Miami is just going to be out of it. They're going to be again playing on the road. You're going from like that nice seasonal weather down in Miami up to the kind of like that not frigid cold right now in October, but there's definitely going to be a difference. Going from Miami to Buffalo this time of year right now. It's beautiful down in Miami right now. Definitely not trying to travel to Buffalo in October, November. Hurtling on that line. So I agree with you. I will take the Bills to cover as well. The 14. I see like I said, 21 to 24 point win here. What do you think about the total 48.5? I think I'm going to the under here.
I do think I'm going to take the under there. It's not a crazy number necessarily. I just don't think Dolphins do their part to hit that over.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you had, what would you put the Dolphins at for their cap? Like 14 points, 10 points?
Max, I'd say 17, and that I think would be a really good game for them. I could see
say so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could get away saying 10. Maybe Gaskins pounds his way in there one time, and then Jason Sanders gets a field goal. But yeah, I think I'd rather play the under on team total points there for the Dolphins.
Well, what's the number at?
Let's take a look.
I don't have it. I just have the total team score. We got Jake in the chat dropping his props. Happy Sunday, Jake. Happy Halloween. Hope you're doing good, sir. We'll leave your props up for a bit. You got Manny Sanders over the 3.5. Love it. Hawkinson over the 4.5. Love it. Pitts 4.5. Great. Anytime TDs. Pitt, Khalil Herbert. Is that Josh Allen rushing? I'm guessing. Sonay Michelle and Chase Claypool. I like him. Odds on Claypool aren't amazing, but I think he can hit that.
They got the Dolphins total points at over under 16.5.
16.5. Yeah, I like the under there. I like the under there. I would cap it at 14, so that's a great number. So yeah, go ahead, guys. Slam the under 16.5 total points for the Miami Dolphins this week. Jake also has Josh Reynolds anytime touchdown plus 600 plus the over 3.5. I like that. That one I really like a lot with Julio out. Yep. Happy prop day, sir. Happy prop day. Steve has got the Terry McLaurin anytime touchdown. I've got James Robinson and Dame Harris anytime touchdown. So get you caught up on our props. All right. So next up, we've got the Carolina Panthers. Moving along here. Carolina Panthers traveling to the Falcons, coming in as road dogs, plus 3 on the spread, plus 140 on the money line. Over under is at 46.5 points. I like the Falcons money line here. I think I'm going to stay away from the spread. And it's really tough with the total. I would probably stay away. It's just really hard to predict, the production from the Carolina Panthers after these stinkers they've had, since their first 3 weeks. So I like the Falcons here, money line, and I feel like that's where I'm going to keep my safe money on this one. Well, what do you think about this matchup, Steve?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement on the Falcons money line. I think they win this one outright. But with the Panthers, I'd buy that up a half point, get them at 3.5. I really think it's probably going to come down similar to the Falcons Miami game, where it's going to be, a late game field goal that puts them over the top. That's why I want that half point.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you are 100% correct with the stay away from this over under. You don't know what the Panthers are going to give you early on when they were 3-0. It looked like, they could score at will. And now it's a struggle for them. Before the show, we were talking about Robbie Anderson, and it's just not there for that offense. I don't know what it is, but they are not gelling under Joe Brady.
My vibe is telling me take the under here. When you look at Carolina, they're 1-4 ATS in their last 5. So they're not running up the total. They're not covering. Atlanta, they're 1-4 straight up their last 5 at home. So I feel like they may struggle at times in this game as well. Carolina 2-5 to the over, been playing very good defense. We mentioned that secondary, second best in the NFL. They're getting Stephon Gilmore today. So my gut's telling me, it's under 46.5, but I don't want to mess with it. Atlanta's still 4-2 to the over this season. There's still upside for them. They pass. It's like they barely even try to run the ball. So game flow could come into play there. It's just too many factors that, we don't have enough concrete info on or enough concrete projections or anything to track. So I'm going to stay away from there. Give me the Falcons on the money line. And I would still recommend staying away from the spread because it's just going to be a weird game. I think you're going to see. I mean, Carolina, they had a 3-5 game going into halftime last week. What the hell? Weird team, them Panthers. All right, next up, we've got the Eagles traveling to Detroit, coming in as road favorites, -3.5 on the spread, -175 in the money line for the Eagles on the road. Over-under is at 48 points. Lions, home dogs, +155 on the spread. Or I'm sorry, 155 on the money line. That would be a great spread. What do you like here, Steve? I'm thinking the Lions take care of business at home.
Yes, sir. For obviously being winless, I feel like they're a pretty good team. You see them, they give it their all for their coach. Hey, that's going to go a long way for you, just getting the effort out of the guys. I think we see them get a win here. I would be all over Lions money line, but I love them +3.5.
I'm going to take the plus money. I'm going to take the +155. They're playing at home. The Eagles are struggling. Detroit is 4-3 ATS. The +3.5, I don't hate it, but like I said, once we get down to that low a number, stick with the money line because obviously they're going to be giving you good value if it's not a huge spread, right? They're going to give you some decent value, whether it's a plus option or a safe -160 or something like that. So I'm going to take the Lions here. The total is interesting, but I think I'm going to go with the under. The Lions are 5-0 to the under in their last 5. Philly 2-4 ATS in their last 6. Again, they're struggling. I feel like they'll have issues at different times in the game. They may even come out and just outright put up 14-0, 7-0. I don't trust them the whole game though. I wouldn't trust them to hold a lead on the road. The Lions are doing everything in their power to win. That game last week up against the Rams, I don't think that energy just stops because it's not Jared Goff's revenge game, or it's not we have to, just lay on our backs for Matt Stafford. You know what I mean? I think they keep up that energy, that pace, and that just aggressive game flow. They don't want to punt. They don't want field goals. They want to score and they want to win. So I'm going to go with the Lions here.
You saw after they scored their first touchdown last week, Dan Campbell threw out and they went for an onside kick. They're doing fake punts. They are doing everything in their power to not, lose anymore. And you like to see it. Eagles are a perfect team for them to beat up on.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least experiment with more trick plays.
Yeah, they're always fun.
Yeah, exactly. We got Emron in the Twitter chat saying, "What's up from Chicago? Happy Sunday, sir. Happy Halloween. Bear down. Let's go.
Bear down, baby.
Getting to the preview here soon. We got a winnable game this week. Let's go, baby." Not going up against legendary quarterbacks or anything. No big deal.
Jimmy Garoppolo, he's a legend. Come on.
It's true. The pride of Illinois. No big deal. All right, next up, we've got this one's a really good one. We got Titans and Colts. We got Titans coming in as road dogs into Indianapolis, +2.5 on the spread, +132 on the money line. Over under for this game is at 51 points. I still like the Titans here. I'm actually kind of intrigued about the Colts getting, the -2.5, the -152. They've been good. They're playing at home, but the Titans look amazing. They've beaten the Chiefs. They've beaten the Bills. They have the rushing offense. Julio, no Julio, I don't really think it matters. Their game plan is just rock solid. I like the road dogs here. Give me the plus 132 on the money line. And, the over is a little bit taller for, a Titans team that loves to pound the ball into the ground. But I don't know, man. I feel like we can go over the 51. What do you like here?
I love Titans money line there. You're getting them as a dog. They just stuck it to the Chiefs, and Derrick Henry is just too good right now. There's not many offenses or defenses that are stopping him. So I love them on the money line there. Over under 51. I think we can hit the over. Colts, obviously, you got to disregard that game against the 49ers where it was just downpouring rain and they couldn't get much going. But even in that game, you saw some action. And then I know you like Pittman. I like what he could bring to this offense. And do they have T.Y. Hilton back?
Likely to play.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the over there. I think you'll see him easily hit that number.
Yeah, I think they can go over that total. I feel like the Titans would be the only ones kind of playing stinker to that with just a really heavy run attack. What is it? Indianapolis is 13th up against the pass and 14th up against the run. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I like the matchup for Carson Wentz versus the Tennessee secondary. They are 24th up against the pass, but 9th up against the run. So I don't know if it's going to be a huge Jonathan Taylor day. But hey, maybe we see like Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry just go off for crazy running back numbers or something like that. I don't know. That would definitely catch the under if that was the case. But I still like the over 51 there. Give it to me. All right, next up, we've got the Rams and the Texans. Jake was also in the chat asking if the Bears won this week, like 35-10, if Nagy would get fired. And yeah, I hope so. But I'm sure even with COVID on the sidelines, not involved, he'll find a way to take credit for a victory. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Between Matt Nagy and Jeremy Colleton, they kill more brain cells than any drug on the market. I'm telling you right now. All right, next up, we got another big spread here. Rams traveling to Houston, minus 16 on the spread. Huge road favorites, minus 1,200 on the money line. Over under is at 46.5 in this game. Of course, me and Steve love the Rams money line. Who doesn't? Minus 1,200. No money to be made there. Excuse me. Rams 16 points. Can they cover? I feel like it's still too much.
Yeah, I'm not touching any spread like that. Last week it was terrible. I think it was the whole afternoon slate. It was like double-digit spreads, and that's just something I do not like to touch. All these people are still professionals. Would I be surprised if the Rams won by 17? No, they're obviously one of the best teams in the NFL. But I'm not touching it, and I don't want to touch it for the Texans. Just don't have faith in them. You don't really know what you're getting from them. I will say I do think we hit the over here. It's 46.5. I think the Rams do enough, and the Texans, they're going to throw in some of those late touchdowns when the Rams, are already winning by probably 2 scores.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And what's coming back into my head when you said that was, so did you watch our, what was it? You probably didn't see, but in our dynasty league, the total point leader, every week in our dynasty league, we pay out the total point leader. Everybody pays $10, right? So number 1 finished 3 points ahead of me. Number 2,
I did see this.
Yeah, so number 2 finished 2 points ahead of me. I came in third and I lost.
That's crazy.
I scored the 3rd most points in the week. I lost to the person who scored the 2nd most, and it was because these David Johnson garbage time catches, man. These David Johnson garbage time catches, they were killing me. I'm watching the game. I was watching it on Red Zone. I'm like, they're out of this game, and they're just flooding targets to this guy right now because they can't move the ball down the field. And it was driving me crazy. I'm like, hey, good for David Johnson. I like David Johnson, but not when you're sinking my ship, pal. Damn.
Do you think any of those Texans running backs get a boost now that Ingram's out of there? Or do you think Ingram...
Just David Johnson, hopefully, because I'm starting him now in another league where I owned him like in a really deep roster, and I haven't started him all year. Yeah, like I think he didn't have like some amazing game. He only had like maybe 10 or 11 points, but going into those like last couple of drives, he only had like 6. So what the hell? It's killing me. I don't trust the Texans here. I don't trust them to cover the 16. I'm not also going to take the Rams to cover the 16. I just have no interest in that. I would rather, try and like get like a random Houston Texans like kick return on the kickoff to start the game and then get it down to 10 and I'll take it there or something like that. Or, or just look for an alternate line and plug it in with something else that you really like on the board today. I honestly don't love the total either. I don't love the over 46.5 because I feel like the Rams could put up like 10 points. Like it could be like a 30-40 or 30-10 type of game. But like you said, like that garbage time. So I don't trust it. I'm probably going to stay away from this game entirely because I don't love the total. I don't love the spread. Obviously, the books aren't giving us any value on the money line. So it's really just not a game where I feel safe. Like I'm gonna walk away with profit. So I'll probably stay away there. But gun to my head, give me the Rams to win big. That's just something I'm rooting for as a fan, something I'd be excited about. So let's go with that. This one, definitely a lot more confident on, especially the spread. We got the Bengals traveling to New York to the Jets, coming in as road favorites, minus 11 on the spread, minus 565 on the money line, and over-under is at 43 points. I buy the Bengals down to 10, and I sleep easy tonight, whether they hit it or they don't.
Yeah, I even like them at the 11 number.
Yeah, sure.
Jets they got really nothing going for them, and if Zach Wilson's not in, that this game is even tougher. It's kind of, I think this is a game though where you kind of see Bengals. Obviously, everyone thinks they're going to win. They should win. Can they put this Jets team, to rest pretty easily to solidify themselves as one of the best teams in the AFC?
I think they will. I think they have, some sour taste in their mouth still from some of these close losses, like the Packers. What was their early one? Bears, that's what it was. Yeah, that's crazy to think about now. It's crazy to think about that. Like the Bears played that good up against that offense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I in my opinion, the Bengals were overly conservative with their play calling. I think it was more like let's walk away from this game with our quarterback in one piece type of situation. Like let's play this right. Let's not screw this up. And it was still kind of early on. The O-line was still trying to figure out their chemistry, trying to gel with everything. So I love them to cover the 10 points in this game. I feel like 11 is just a weird number, and the books know something that we don't. So I'm gonna take it down a point. That'll probably push me to minus 134. I don't hate that value at the minus 10. It's certainly light years better than the minus 565 you're getting on the money line. So give me the Bengals to cover the 10. What do you think about the total of 43? I think it's like smash the under, right? I mean, Mike White at quarterback. If you guys want some more profit in this game, maybe look at a defensive touchdown for the Bengals or anytime defensive touchdown the entire game, something like that. I don't love the over.
Yeah, I don't think you can take the over here because you're going to need the Jets to put in, at least 14 points, at least, and no quarterback. I don't think they can do it.
No thanks. Staying away. All right, next up, we got the Steelers traveling to the Browns. Steelers come in as road dogs, plus 4.5 on the spread, plus 175 in the money line. Over under in this game is at 43 points. Interesting. I think I like that over. What do you think, Steve?
I love that over. The fact that it's the same as the Bengals Jets is kind of wild. I know the Browns are dinged up,
Mike White, Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't love this line at 4.5 for the Browns. I think this could easily be a field goal game. But I like the Browns on the money line.
I don't know. I think I like the Browns to cover at home. Their defense has been amazing. They're the best team on the ground, first in the NFL, in rushing yards. Third up against the run, seventh up against the pass. I don't really see a ton of upside here for Ben Roethlisberger other than just throwing the ball 50 or 60 times to try and pull out some crazy victory on the road. I'm going to take the Browns to cover. I think they do it. 4-3 ATS this season. Pittsburgh 2-4. Road Ben. I mean, both quarterbacks honestly are going to be hobbled. It looks like Baker is going to give it a go. And even if he doesn't, I trust their backup quarterback rather than if Ben Roethlisberger gets taken out of the game and you got Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins on the field. So I'm gonna go with the Browns to cover. I like the money line. That's probably a little bit safer. If you have something else that you're cooking up, something that you feel really good about in your props or other bets, I would just take the Browns money line with that. But if you want solid value, that minus 104 for the minus 4.5, I think they can hit it. And I'll still take the over too. You're good with the over?
Yeah, of course. I love that over.
Yeah, I'll take the over with that. I mean, you still just have a lot of fantasy relevant players in there, guys that put up big production. We saw what Dearness Johnson did last week. I know that Nick Chubb's coming back, but at the same time, like I would assume that they would use him in some fashion, right?
Yeah.
Really spread the ball around, and I just really trust Kevin Stefanski. He's been rock solid with them. I love his play calling. All right, next up, we got our Bears. We got the 49ers traveling to Chicago, coming in as road favorites, -4 on the spread, -198 on the money line. Over under is at 40 points. Bears are laying plus 173 at home, and they have the +4 option. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears for a win. We need one. We're hungry. I think the +4 is probably the safest bet there. Defense is going to be, the narrative of this game from both sides. Which quarterback is going to score a passing touchdown first? I like the under, and give me the Bears to cover and win. What do you think, Steve?
Man, is it embarrassing that the Bears are laying 4 points at home against a team that is not very good? How many in a row have the Niners lost? Is it all their losses in a row?
I don't know how many they've lost in a row, but they're 1-5 ATS in their last 6.
Yeah. It's really tough. It's just bad for the Bears, and it kind of reflects on the current state of them. Dinged up, no Khalil Mack. I think I'm going to lay the points with the 49ers. I just got to see more from the Bears. It's like pulling teeth when they're on offense. So to lay that much, it's too tough. It's going to be the Khalil Herbert show. So I'm going to take the Niners. I probably don't take the spread at all. I probably just take money line.
That's fine. I'm going to take the under 40.
Under.
Bears are 6-0 in their last 6 to the under, so pretty
what
easy there.
Terrible stat.
Whatever. It is what it is. We got a young quarterback. It's not like we didn't try to go out and get Russell Wilson or anything. You know what I mean? Like we were looking for like the A1. We got the prospect version. So is what it is. I'm going to take the Bears here. We need a win. We're hungry. We're at home. Niners traveling. Garoppolo hobbled, maybe not 100%. I'm going to go Bears here. All right. Next up, we got the Jaguars at the Seahawks. 3.5-point spread. Jaguars coming in as road dogs, +173 on the money line. Over unders at 44.5 points. So this is a tough one. Because Seattle's been covering. These last couple of games, even without Russell Wilson, they're 2-0 to the cover. But now they don't have the plus option. Now they're laying the -3.5. So I feel like I got to flip that. I feel like they either win by 3 or lose by 3. So give me the Jags +3.5. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't trust the Seahawks to win. If they were at +3, that'd be my pick. And I wouldn't miss a beat of sleep this evening. But that's tough for me. I just see a really tight game here. What do you think?
Here we are. I'm going to take the Seahawks. They lost a tough one. They really battled with the Saints last week. I'm going to take Seattle. I don't have much faith in Jacksonville right now. Obviously, they're trying to get their footing underneath them with rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, a lot of young talent on the team. But I think this is also a game where you see Jamal Adams can really shine. Jaguars are going to pound the rock with James Robinson. That's kind of been their MO for, a year and a half now. And that's where Jamal Adams can thrive. You're stacking the box, you get him in there, almost treating him like a DN and just let him get in there. So I'm going to take it. I think the Seahawks continue with their covering trend. As for the over under 44.5, I'm going to go the under. I just don't see Gino didn't top the 200 yards mark last week. Jaguars are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Just got to take the under. A little surprised this is set where it is. And then the Steelers Browns is 1.5 under.
That is interesting. The 44.5, I'm going to take the over. I feel like we can still get like a 27-20 type of game either direction, but I think that will be the Jaguars. I think they'll be ahead of this one. So give me like 27-24. 24-20 may not be great, but I think that could be close too. But I'm going to take the over. I'm giving me 44.5. Maybe even buy it down to the 43.5. Buy it down a point and slam it. I think that's a safer number. because that 2024 is just like sticking out of my head for that game. So yeah, buy that down to 43.5. Slam that over. All right, next up we got the Patriots and the Chargers. Patriots coming in, road dogs, plus 4.5 on the spread, plus 175 in the money line. Over under is at 49.5 points. That seems like a big number. Chargers getting the minus 4.5, minus 205 at home. I think the Chargers can cover here. I like them to win by 7. Am I crazy?
No, I think you're 100% right there. You saw the Patriots last week put up a great game, in my opinion. Mac Jones really kind of had his like welcome to the NFL show out performance, but it was against a middling Jets team. So you kind of got to back that up a little bit. I like the Chargers here. They kind of need to get right. They started the year what looked to be like, a really, really good team, would be vying for easily the AFC West, and they still are. But they got to continue to build off that. Herbert will have a big day, so I'm going to lay the 4.5 points for the Chargers, and I'm going to actually take the over.
Man, the over. I feel like that's a big number for the Patriots. I feel like we're kind of paying for that for last week's production up against the Jets, and this ain't the Jets, folks.
You're not wrong there.
And they're on the road. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Chargers rushing defense is just like it's a hole in the ship. I mean, they're just taking on water constantly. But man, I just don't feel like that's enough for the Patriots, to really rally up a big score, a big total here. So I'm going to go under 49.5. I feel like we're paying for that for last week's, big explosion of production versus the Jets. So give me the Chargers to cover, win, and I'll take the under 49.5. It'll be close though, I think, to that 49. I still feel like, I love Dame Harris to score a touchdown today. Maybe he can get a couple. I don't know.
Dame Harris plus 750 to score 2 touchdowns. Hunter Henry plus 2,200, and it is a revenge game, folks.
Oh shit! I have to start Hunter Henry. Whenever revenge is involved, you got to get your guys in there. Got to get your guys in there for the revenge spots.
But Dame Harris at plus 750, I like that value for him to score 2. Only you got to put a little bit of pause there, just because obviously he is their handoff. All they're going to do is hand him off the ball. They're not really looking for him in the passing game. So you kind of are cut short there, but I think you can just pound him in. They love him running it right between the tackles. Yeah,
absolutely. We got NBA Rigged in the chat saying, morning, fellas. Hope you guys are doing well. We are. Hope you are as well. I love your name, by the way, NBA Rigged. I would like to know, if you want to share, are the Bucks going to respond today after playing back-to-back games? They failed to cover the 7 for me last night, let alone win. So I'm a little sour about it. Share that in the chat if you like. All right, let's move on. Next up, we've got football team and the Broncos. So we got the football team traveling to Mile High, plus 3.5 on the spread. Road dogs, plus 162 on the money line. Over under for this game is at 45 points. I still like the Broncos to win. I don't think it's worth it to touch the spread here. And I like the over.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of hit that one exactly how I'm thinking. If anything, if I was going to touch the spread, I'd probably buy it down a point. Let the Broncos lay 2.5 with them. But obviously, you can go money line, and you're not really losing. It's good value. So kind of throw that, and if you don't want to lay, a minus 182, throw it in with something else you feel confident about. This over under. What'd you say? You said you take the over.
I'm going to take the over 45. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think they do it. It might be tough. Both of these teams thought, at the beginning of the year kind of looked like they'd be better, and they've kind of fallen short lately. So I'll take the over, but I don't love it.
I'm going to take the over. I do like it. I mean, the football team still moves the football up and down the field, right? I mean, the offense has been pretty good, and their defense is, like holes everywhere, rushing, passing. You can really put up a lot of damage on this team, on the air, on the ground, whatever. Broncos, I mean, they're the ones that would concern me about the total more so. Like, if they're just playing like really lights out defense, if they're just trying to really put the ball onto the ground with Gordon or Javonte Williams. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the football team's going to keep the game flow going here. I think there's going to be, some early scores from both teams opposed to an early over. So we got Breck in the chat asking Robert Woods or Waddle full point PPR. I am going Robert Woods. Waddle could get a lot of targets today, but it's still the Buffalo Bills defense. They're stifling, and they are, I think, first against the pass. They are first up against the pass. It's not a great matchup. So I'm going Robert Woods there. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I got to agree. Just take the better player on the better team.
Absolutely. No, I was talking about the Milwaukee Bucks not covering up against the Spurs last night. What the hell was that all about? I mean, I've been banging the Spurs drum, but man, I mean, figured Bucks can cover it at home. Brooke Lopez being out, must be a bigger deal than I imagined, but whatever. All right. Next, we have the Bucks and the Saints. Different sort of Bucks. So Buccaneers will cover up against the Saints on the road, -4.5 on the spread, -198 on the money line, and over/under is at 48.5. Give me the Bucks to cover. Give me the Bucks to win, and I will take over 48.5. Tom Brady and that passing offense, they are just juggernauts right now. Whether they have Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, doesn't really matter. Godwin and Evans will still move those chains. Fournette has been lights out. He's a stud right now. You got to start him in like every single format. Give me the Buccaneers. I think they could win big, and it's a division game. The Saints are actually back in it. They're 4-2 on their record, so I think the Buccaneers really want to make a statement here on the road and run up the score on them.
Yeah, I agree. Bucks are juggernaut. I mean, that's really what they are. It doesn't matter. They will bolt race you up and down the field. I do think you're going to see New Orleans is going to be rocking your Halloween weekend in New Orleans.
True.
They're going to give a tough time for Brady and that offense to obviously communicate with how loud that'll get. But I don't think there's much stopping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. I will lay the 4 points. I think they probably win by at least 7. Over under, I will take the over here. Only thing you got to worry about is Saints not doing their part. Jameis Winston, maybe getting in a little trouble, either throwing an interception or just not moving the ball well enough. Obviously, his passing numbers aren't great. They kind of look like the Bears in team total passing. But yeah, I think this is a Bucs game that they can easily win.
Yeah, New Orleans is there it is. They are 31st in passing. Bears are 32nd. So yes, very close. Yeah. I agree with you there. Yeah, give me the Bucs to cover the money line, and I'll still take the over 48.5 just because the Saints, they have Alvin Kamara. They got Traquan Smith back last week. I know that's not like a huge indicator of success by any means. We saw Traquan Smith and Jameis Winston absolutely blow up on each other on the sideline. That was awesome. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I'm just, to the finer point, help's on the way, right? Like, so I still feel like they can go over that 48.5, especially if they're playing from behind at any given point. If the Bucs really put up those points early and often.
You firing up any Tyler Johnson this week?
No.
So that was just a 1 week thing for you?
Yeah. He gone. I mean, like in those spots, like you try to take advantage, right? Like Tyler Johnson was a nice ad on Thursday or Friday last week. When that news is starting to come out, and you can grab those pieces off the waiver wire for free, rather than getting caught up in the fob spending on Tuesday and Wednesdays, right? So that was just one of those plays where I'm just like, man, like I have to like. You look at that role, the way that they used Antonio Brown and every week prior to him being out of the lineup, and then he's not. And obviously it just came down to Tom's going to throw to the guys that he's super confident in. And that to me was more indicative of his confidence and his connection with Antonio Brown. When Antonio Brown is healthy, I will never sit him. I will never sit him when he comes back, because you just saw how great that connection is between them, right? It's kind of the same thing with Gronk, right? Like, Gronk doesn't have to be overused. Tom will just use him when he really trusts him, i.e. the red zone, right? Like he wants that big body. He wants a guy that he can rely on, the hands, etc. So and same thing obviously goes with Godwin and Evans. Like he trusts those guys a ton, but it's just that when they have better matchups, against better defenders, Tom's going to go with the next best play, probably A, B, or Gronk or whatever. So, and obviously there's less trust for, the Dardens, the Tyler Johnsons, even Scotty Miller, I would probably put up there is like a higher trust level, but he's hurt,
Yep.
All right, back to my Milwaukee Bucks talk here. The Bucks, that was my specialty. Bucks want to lay low. Third seed and Giannis not in MVP contention. When pressure is on them, they will always underperform. Hence, you see the Spurs covering the spread last night against Milwaukee. On the road, though, come on, man. Come on. Show up for Milwaukee, Giannis. I actually didn't see what Giannis did last night. I don't know if it's necessarily his fault, but I'll get him another time. No worries. Appreciate you sharing that in the chat, sir. All right, next up, we've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings. Cowboys coming in as road dogs, plus 2.5 on the spread, plus 117 on the money line. Over-under is at 51.5. To be 1,000% honest, I can't tell you what to do here. I have no idea if Dak Prescott's playing. I have no idea what to pick here.
Yeah.
If Dak is playing, give me the over and give me the Cowboys to cover. If Dak isn't playing, give me the Vikings to cover and the under. It's about as simple as I can keep it.
Yeah, I mean, this one's up in the air right now, just because Dak Prescott's a huge piece. But you kind of got to wait to see what's going to happen. I do like Cowboys at plus 137 if Prescott, is playing. That's great value for them.
I'll take the cover. I don't want to mess with the money line. He's still banged up, and the Dallas Cowboys 6-0 ATS this season. They have covered every game so far. So I will take Dallas to cover. I'm not touching the money line here. I know that's kind of like opposite of what I usually tell folks is, hey, when the spread's that low, take the money line. But we don't know what's going on in this game. We don't know Dak's condition. Even if he says he's going to play, we don't know how well he's going to play. They may try to feed the rock to Zeke. It's a great matchup for him. Vikings 24th up against the run. So I do think that they lean heavily on, Zeke and Pollard tonight, regardless of Dak's status. So yeah, got to wait and see on that. We'll see what happens. And, maybe we can circle back to it later in the day on Twitter, socials or whatever. So this one's a little interesting. While we were live, they pulled this game from the board. They pulled Monday night from the board. So I don't have any up-to-date odds. The odds that I'm giving you are based off of, actually, I have no money line odds right now. So they pulled them from the board. So right now I got a 10-point spread in this game. I'm going to take Kansas City to cover that 10-point spread. And again, I don't have a total. I have another site's total of 52 points. I suppose based on 52 points, I would take the over. But again, that's not a real number. So for whatever reasons, I don't know if maybe someone's hurt, someone just got pulled from the card from the game, but it's not on the board right now. So I'm going to take Kansas City to cover the 10, and I suppose I'll take anything over 49 to 52.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Giants to cover the 10. I think that's just too tall of a number, especially how the Chiefs have been playing football. Mahomes really took a hit last week. Does that affect him at all? I'm kind of shocked he's playing, but hey, who knows? Check us out on Monday. We will be here and we will go over this game prior to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely have more clarity tomorrow night when we jump into the preview on it. But sitting how it's looking right now, there must be some type of change coming. I don't know if it's weather, players, or what's going on, but it's not normal for it to get pulled off the card when people are raking in money for their picks for the week. So we'll see what happens there. We will have the preview out tomorrow night. Don't see any other questions here in the chat, so we're probably going to be heading out. Have anything to share before we do, Steve?
Bear down.
Oh. Yeah, man, we need it. It's go time. It is go time.
It's the first winnable game we've had in a long, long time, it seems like.
Yeah, NBA rigged in the chat asking about Barkley practicing yesterday. I don't believe so. He's not playing in this game.
Yeah, he didn't practice all week, and then he is ruled out.
Yeah, definitely need to pivot there if that's something that you're worried about. Definitely don't want to be starting him this week. Not going to be available for you. But yeah, come check back with us tomorrow. We also have shows on Wednesday and Friday for basketball and hockey. I can neither confirm nor deny if we will continue with our Thursday show because I have to start working from actually work now. So we'll see how this week goes. I've been working from home for a long while. So we'll see if the Thursday show still keeps rolling, but I got a lot more on my plate these days. So we'll see what happens. But man, our picks are rolling over here. I'm hotter than hot on hockey right now. I went 7-1 last night in an 8-game parlay. Penguins burned me down. Basketball isn't as on fire, but it's still very hot, very profitable. So check back with us. We got shows going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday morning. Drop in, and we will give you that value to take it to the Hizzy, baby. You guys have basketball show tomorrow. No, we do not. We have basketball on Fridays, sir. It's on Fridays. Not quite the demand as football. There's a 3 show per week requirement. But All right. Take care. Be good, everybody. May the winners be yours. Be good. And if you can't be good at it. We'll see you.